All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack a really profound philosophical critique of modern materialism and the economic structures we live in every single day. Today, we're taking a completely neutral look at some incredibly challenging perspectives. We'll be asking questions about what we value, how our systems actually operate, and frankly, what we might be sacrificing just to chase a very specific kind of success. To be clear, we're not taking a political side here. Instead, we're putting on a critical lens to examine the very fabric of our modern society. We're going to explore the mechanics of wealth, the promises we've been sold, and the hidden costs of what the source text calls the standardized good. So grab your focus. This is a deep one, but it's absolutely going to be worth it.
Okay, Section 1, the ultimate modern question. The author actually frames their entire critique around one single penetrating inquiry into human motivation. The text hits us right away with this huge question. Who would actually give up their personal good and advantages for a greater general good? What about for future generations or for abstract things like morality and truth? Seriously, think about it. Is anyone today genuinely willing to sacrifice tangible material gain, money, comfort, status, for the benefit of people they're literally never going to meet? It's a heavy question you could ask in any era, sure, but as we'll see, it feels incredibly urgent right now.
The text uses this phrase, "Let it be good for me," or "after us, the deluge." That perfectly captures an ideology that's totally driven by immediate self-interest. It's presentism. Honestly, this is kind of the dominant operating system of our modern world, right? There's this pervasive feeling that as long as I'm comfortable right now, whatever disaster comes next, the deluge, well, that's just not my problem.
Which brings us to Section 2, the trickle-down illusion. To really understand this kind of individual selfishness, we've got to look at the massive economic structures that are actually encouraging it. Let's look at the incredibly popular theory of trickle-down economics. The text defines this as a sort of collective belief, or maybe a collective hope, that money flowing into large corporations or the ultra-rich will inevitably act as this massive investment that ends up helping everyone else. You know the drill. The idea is that the well-being of the folks at the very top will eventually, organically, trickle down, creating opportunities for people who have less or even nothing at all. This is the core mechanism we are all basically taught to believe in.
But the author argues that in reality, the whole thing operates totally differently. It happens in 3 steps. Step 1 is infiltration. These massive economic entities slip into markets, lodging themselves between nations, between people, and even between humanity and nature. Then comes Step 2, public hope. The masses latch onto these entities as employees or consumers, hoping they can ride the wave and grow alongside them. But Step 3 is the cold reality. These entities really only grow themselves. They suck up mass resources and human labor, giving back the bare minimum while taking way more. It's a literal formula of minimum investment for maximized profit. So the masses are kept in this endless holding pattern of hope, idolizing the exact same machine that's extracting from them.
And that leads perfectly into Section 3, the standardized good life. This is the source materials term for that heavily promoted vision of success that keeps us all running on the treadmill.
Look at this stark contrast. On one side, we have the promoted good. This is the carrot constantly dangling in front of us, buying properties, flashy cars, luxury trips, designer clothes, and maintaining the absolute perfect outward appearance. But let's be real, only a tiny fraction of people actually achieve this. Now look at the other side, the hidden cost. This polished state of well-being for a select few is literally carried on the backs of the many. Young people, children, and the socially disadvantaged end up suffering just to uphold these superficial, highly individualistic privileges for the elite. According to the text, there's practically zero genuine giving happening in this dynamic.
Let's slow down for just a second and look at the reality for the folks who actually do manage to grab a piece of this standardized good life, a group the text calls the modern petite bourgeoisie. Instead of true prosperity and happiness, the author sees severe internal social decay. They describe this group as pale and withered in values. We're talking about high divorce rates, broken families, and kids struggling with substance abuse. On top of that, you've got a completely false meritocracy driven by rampant parvenusism. That's just a fancy way of saying aggressive social climbing by people who suddenly got rich but completely lack traditional social skills or rooted values. You end up with a system full of people in positions they shouldn't actually hold. It's a totally hollow victory. To get this artificial privilege, authentic social bonds are sacrificed.
So moving right along to Section 4, a rigged economic jungle. The really crucial point here is how this system treats the people who get left behind.
If you're unable or maybe even unwilling to achieve this highly standardized version of success, the author argues that your authentic human potential gets entirely suppressed. If you're outside this very specific scheme, you're isolated, you're ignored. But here is the truly insidious part. If you don't have access to this narrow definition of well-being, society looks down on you. The fact that the system destroyed your chances is suddenly framed as your personal fault. It's a personal failure, not a societal one. And this brutal judgment gets slapped on you regardless of your actual skills, your deeply held values, or your true potential as a human being.
We hear the phrase survival of the fittest thrown around in economics all the time, right? But the premise of this text is that we are absolutely not in a natural meritocracy. It's not a natural jungle. It is a corrupted jungle. It's a landscape where the prime spots have already been handed out and all the advantages are permanently locked in for a select few. To put it simply, we're all playing a game that has already been played. The winners were decided before you even picked up the dice.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Rethinking True Freedom. The source material now turns its critical eye toward how we actually understand freedom itself.
Because think about it. If the game is rigged from the start, what does it even mean to be free? The author argues that in a rigged system, the struggle for freedom is practically non-existent. On one hand, freedom today just operates as a catchy slogan. It's a buzzword, treated like a promised reward from a politician. But on the other hand, true freedom is defined as having the actual, real-world possibility to fulfill your potential within your community. The huge takeaway here, true freedom cannot be asked for. If someone in a position of power tells you they are going to just give you freedom, the text warns that they are highly likely using it as just another mechanism to control you.
Bringing this whole philosophical dive full circle, the text leaves us with a heavy, adapted version of that very first question we asked. Knowing everything we've just unpacked, the trickle-down illusions, the hollow standardized good, the corrupted economic jungle, and the total weaponization of freedom, we really have to ask ourselves, what kind of people are still capable today of overcoming their own egocentrism, their selfishness, and their desire for immediate comfort, to actually fight for an authentic general good? It's a profound question that challenges the absolute core of our modern values. It makes you really think, doesn't it? I'll leave you to ponder exactly where you stand in this economic jungle.